Hey, this is Lindsay Trent with Next Gen Talks, and I am excited to have our guest on the show today. A friend of mine I met at the Kentucky Trucking Association leadership conference this summer, and it's just been great to get to know her. And what she does is very unique to the trucking industry. Kelsey, thank you for joining the show today.
Thank you, Lindsay. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm excited to chat, but before we start, I just want to thank some of our sponsors. Thank you to everybody that makes this possible. And I wanted to thank Act One Group, to Performance Food Group, to XBO, and to Coke Trucking. So, Kelsey, let me know. I want to know, how did you get into the trucking industry?
Well, when I was 5, I decided I want to be a truck driver lawyer. Or maybe not. I don't know. Probably not. But no, when I was in college, I was down in Georgia. The one February, I wanted to get back to this boyfriend in Illinois, and it was Valentine's Day. And I left the University of Georgia and got in my little Chevette and started driving north early that morning. And of course, this is before cell phones. It's like 1985, and I was driving. I didn't really have much in the way of food or much in the way of coats and things like that. It was warm in Georgia at the time. Well, it was unfortunately there was a snowstorm happening in further up north, and I got to the mountains just north of Chattanooga. And it started getting worse and worse and worse. And all of a sudden, there was a pile of snow ahead of me. I couldn't go anywhere. I had to pull over to the side. And here I am in this little Chevette with no way of communicating to anyone. And long story short, I was rescued by someone in the trucking industry. They took me to a restaurant that was connected to a hotel. I sat in that restaurant, and I was by myself. There was a group of truckers sitting nearby. Here I am, a 21-year-old on my own. And they asked what was happening. And I said, I don't have any money. I don't know what I'm doing. I have this car stuck out on the highway. And this very, very nice trucker, he came over, and first of all, he bought my dinner, and then he gave me a key to his room. So I went to the room, of course, locked the door, and had a good sleep that night, and got up the next morning to thank that trucker, who was just a lovely person. Anyway, he wasn't to be found, but I've just always thought of truckers as the knights of the road, as they used to be called, because we hadn't no communication out there. They had their CBs and things, but really, really decent people. And so I've always appreciated truck drivers and the care they've given to other people.
So then how did you translate that into a career as you graduated from law school?
Mm-hmm. It started out, I represented small businesses, and over time, I also was helping doing work for insurance companies, and it kind of morphed into what we call downtime claims. So we are helping trucking companies on their lost income claims. So someone comes along and hits a truck. Let's say it's a small business, a fleet that only has maybe 5 trucks in it. Someone comes along and hits one of their trucks. That truck is down, and it might be down for the next couple months. The car, let's say it's a State Farm insured. State Farm may understand how to fix that truck, but they don't necessarily understand how to pay for the lost income of that truck. That truck has all of its expenses, almost all, except for fuel, but none of the income. And so the smaller the company, the more upside down that company can get very quickly. So that's our little niche in the world. We are the largest firm, really the only firm that I know of that does downtime claims exclusively as a practice. So it's on when you look at insurance claims, you got there's two buckets of money insurance companies have. They have a bucket of money for personal injuries, and they have a bucket of money for property damage. And so we work in the property damage area, specifically, mostly, not only the repairs, but on the lost income. And so we found this little niche of a niche, and I'm so pleased that we're able to help truckers all over the nation do this kind of work.
Yeah, and you're one of the good guys.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, our team here, we've got a great team, and with a lot of experience, a lot of understanding. We listen, and then we execute the way it needs to happen, because we've done it over and over. At any one time, we probably have 500 of these cases going, and so we figured it out.
What, ideally, what size trucking company is the best size? Like, definitely one, so owner operator, two.
Yeah. So we represent some that are maybe 100 trucks, 150. We have represented, up to 600-700 trucks before. And of course, they also have loss of use or this business interruption loss. However, the loss is the most significant the smaller the group usually. Mm-hmm. And because I used to represent some car rental places. So for example, Alamo, I'd have to get in front of the judge and say, Judge, this car is down, and so they are owed all of this lost income from this car. Really? There's 1,000 more cars on the lot. So it's tougher the more vehicles that are in the fleet. So the less vehicles, or the more dedicated those vehicles are. Sometimes they're very, very specific equipment, and you just can't go rent that type of equipment. And so that's what we look for.
Wow. So specifically then, you are really helping someone who has a truck. So you're helping not just recover equipment costs, like, because maybe they have a payment, but you're also helping recover what they would be earning, their lost income from the truck.
Yes, absolutely. We go after the big dollar, the gross number, before they pay all those expenses.
And how does that work?
Well, it's really important to have two things. One, liability proven. So we need to prove, every case has two steps. The first step is proving liability, proving that the other side was at fault. So you could have $1 million in losses, but if you can't prove the other side's at fault, you get nothing. So number one, prove liability. Number two, prove how much you're out. And that can be the repairs that you had to, that can be temporary repairs. That can be diminished value. Let's say you had a 2025 truck that only had 5,000 miles on it. All of a sudden it gets creamed from the side, and now it has all these repairs. It's not worth as much as it was the day before the accident. And so no matter what size of a fleet, diminished value should be collected back for that company. And then the biggie for our firm is downtime claims, the lost income of that equipment. It might be a day, but it's more likely a month or two.
Wow. Okay. So question. I am listening to this podcast. I've really never heard of this concept before. Mm-hmm. What if it was over a year ago that I had something like this happen? Mm-hmm. Would I still go back and try to reclaim some of the money that I lost?
I think you should. So there are some states where it's called the statute of limitation. So some states are only 1 year and other states are 8 to 10 years. So as long as let's say there was you had a truck and the accident was last year and you got State Farm to pay for the repairs, but you didn't sign a release, you can still go back to State Farm and get those other things back, as long as you didn't release all the rights on that. If they just paid for the repair, Nothing on the front of the check, nothing on the back. You didn't sign a property damage release or anything like that. And the statute of limitation has not expired, go for it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew? And so if a listener is listening to this and what are some tips that you can give them about insurance claims?
Well, it's important to start at the accident scene. Absolutely, especially if let's say you're the safety director and you've got drivers out there. It's important. It's so important for a driver to know what to do at the scene, because again, those drivers have to help you prove step number one, that the other guy was liable. And how do you do that? Well, I think every truck should have a dash cam. Now, not every company driver believes in dash cams, and maybe not every company owner believes in dash cams. I know a lot of drivers don't like the inward facing cameras, but there have been so many cases that we have won just based on the dash cam footage. My understanding is when you've got car versus truck, the cars are responsible for the accidents 85% of the time. So odds are that dash cam is going to be really helpful. And so getting that dash cam footage secured immediately is number one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then we've also, so basically here's some steps. I've got some steps real quick. So ensure the safety of all, make sure everybody's good, call 911 and file a police report. Even if the other guy is offering you some cash, here's $1,000. So no, you call 911 and you get a police report. Take photos, take videos. Had cases where the client has zeroed in on the damage so close. That's great. I see the damage, but they never took a picture farther back. I don't know who was at fault for what. I can't see the skid marks, can't see where it hit, all that. So it's important to get both vehicles and the entire scene.
And so the police don't necessarily do that. So really, I need to make that my responsibility to be the photographer and the videographer.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I mean, everybody has a smartphone. It's free to take pictures, videos. It needs to happen. And along with the discussing the police, they don't often write a report. A lot of states, they don't write a report if the accident happened in a parking lot or at a truck stop. And so that gets a little tricky. So it's very important to either get an admission in writing from the driver, or ask the police at least to write an incident report or something, at least to show that both parties were there and involved in this, even if they won't place blame or give a ticket of some sort. The next thing is get witness information and statements. So if there are third-party witnesses out there, their testimony is going to rise higher than either of the two parties. Both parties are prejudiced parties to the case, but these third-party witnesses, they don't have a dog in the fight, so they should be saying what they truly felt. If a driver is sitting in a truck stop, parked, let's say they got hit while they were sleeping or something, and they didn't have their dash cam rolling, they didn't have any witnesses, they might go around to some of the different trucks and ask to see if there's any dash cam that any of the other guys have or gals. That's definitely helped.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So it's really important to get the at-fault parties' information, get a picture of their driver's license, find out what company they're driving for, if it's a truck, or if it's a car, were they Uber at the time, or were they on company business in any way? Get their license plate, get pictures of everything. Then you do not have to file a claim with your own insurance company typically. Nobody wants to file a claim with their own insurance. These days, insurance rates are going out the roof, and a lot of times people get dropped. So if it's not against a driver's own motor carrier's requirements, don't file a claim with your own insurance if you can avoid it. File with the other side.
Okay.
And you don't have to wait until that driver files a claim. You can file a claim on their insurance. So you can, as long as you know that they have State Farm, you can dial up State Farm and say, I want to file a claim on this against this person for, this. And they'll set up a claim and it'll start to go forward. Whether or not it goes through, it'll take some time because that adjuster is going to talk to their driver, to their insured, and make sure that they're in agreement that they were at fault.
Wow. So I'm not even doing this from my own insurance. I'm doing it from the at fault's insurance.
Right.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Even better.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because if you file a claim with your own insurance, number one, you're going to have a claim. And number two, you're going to have a deductible. A lot of folks have a deductible of $1,000 or $2,000. Mm-hmm. And if you're filing a claim on the other side, there's no claim on your insurance and there's no deductible.
Wow.
So then it's very important to prove liability with the other adjuster, show the dash cam video and maybe the paperwork that their own insured gave them admitting fault. And then it's important to document your losses by getting an estimate at a shop, everything that's going to be covered. And then also create a timeline. Start from the day of the accident because it's so easy to forget things that you do. And it's really, really important. Even though you're the victim, you are the potential plaintiff in a lawsuit, and the plaintiff has to prove their case, not the other guy. So keeping a timeline on everything that's done. And why is that important? It's important because there's something in the law called mitigation of damages. Even though you are out all this money, it's you as the victim, but you as the plaintiff have a duty to make your losses as small as possible. And that might mean trying to rent a truck or trying to co-drive with somebody or trying this or get temporary repairs or whatever it might be. Most of the state laws don't require you to actually be successful in accomplishing this, but they do require you to try. And so proving that is super important, and not just saying it and not just writing it on a timeline, but if you contact a tow company or a rental truck company and they say they don't have any trucks, well, you need to get that from them in writing. So if it's not in writing, it never happened. It's not exactly the law, but it's pretty close in many cases.
Gotcha. So I have to be very particular to get things in writing. Now, when do you come into play? When can I reach out to you to help?
The sooner the better. The sooner the better. Yesterday, I talked to a guy that had just had a accident hours before.
Okay.
And the reason it's helpful to get involved right away is because we suggest these things like securing the dash cam, securing pictures of the scene, getting witness statements, and then keeping a timeline and documenting everything in writing. So having the knowledge of that is very helpful. There's a lot of times when we don't handle the whole claim. We just handle the downtime portion. So for example, the guy yesterday had filed a claim with I think it was Progressive. So he filed a claim with Progressive for the repairs. He's going to handle that directly with them. And we're just going to handle the downtime portion. We're going to calculate his losses, estimate them out, and then go after Progressive for that portion of his claim. So we're able to handle the whole claim or just a portion, depending on what the client wants.
Gotcha. So the person that, not his insurance, but the other one was Progressive. And he was like, well, I can handle the damage, but I want you to handle the downtime claims, or you can do both. Either way.
Yeah. whatever. Sometimes, a company will have a couple dozen trucks, and they don't want to have a claims department in house. We can be their claims department from the outside as well, and that saves them an employee or two, and it gives them an attorney on standby. So,
Do you all do this all over the country, or is there a specific geography that you guys handle?
I'm still waiting on a Hawaiian case, but until then, yes, we handle the whole country. And the way we operate, we're actually located in Florida, and we do this negotiation work all over the country. We calculate these claims, we make demands everywhere. And then if it has to go to litigation, if we have someone on the other side that's just not being reasonable, we will then partner with a local attorney. Say it's a Utah case, we will partner with a Utah lawyer who will take the case into litigation. We stay involved in the communication with the client, and that attorney goes ahead and moves forward to get a judgment. And so we handle everything up to court, and then partner with the local lawyer. So,
okay. So your process, what is the time frame? So this guy that called you yesterday, how soon will you be able to file a claim for his downtime?
We can file it today. So we will put the other side. So as soon as he sends a contract, we will send a notice of representation off to Progressive. Now, then we will also send some forms to the client for him to fill out so that we can calculate his losses. And because we don't know how long that case is, or how long he's going to be down, we'll either estimate it or we'll wait until that's done, depending on what the client wants. So the other insurance companies are put on notice immediately, and then depending on how quickly the client can act to get us the documents is how quickly we can act to put everything together and make the demand. So,
how long does it typically take to get the payout?
If we have, I would say probably, 10% or so are claims where it's a paid in full. We calculate everything and we send the demand off. And we get a check in the mail. It's not necessarily the majority of time, although I wish it was.
To make life easy, right?
It would make life very easy. And so if it's that way, it's not very long. Unfortunately, it depends on who's on the other side. I tell the clients, I'm the boss of me, but I'm not the boss of them. And so if they don't want to pay, we'll take it up the ladder to vice presidents or presidents or whatever to try to get something resolved. But if they absolutely refuse to be reasonable, then you're looking at litigation, and that could be definitely more than a year out on things like that. So, but I believe our process is efficient. And the nice thing for a lot of the folks that come to us is it's not the day after the accident. Maybe it's a month or two, and they are just hurting because no truck, no income, all the expenses. And so they're broke when they come to us. And the nice thing is we do a free consultation, and then we do all of our work on what's called a contingency fee basis. So it's a percentage of what we collect. So we invest.
Oh, it's not even out of my pocket.
Not out of your pocket. No. Wow. Yeah. So I invest in my staff. The staff invests in their time to get this demand package all put together and off to the other side and do all the negotiation. And at the end of the case, when we get a settlement, boom, that's when the client gets the majority and we get our attorney's fees as well. So
it's awesome. I mean, what you do is such a great service. What do you love about your job, Kelsey?
I have always been a small business advocate. Love small business. I love people in the United States that go out and create something out of nothing. And truck drivers, fleet owners, owner operators, independent contractors, These are salt of the earth people. I grew up in the middle of a cornfield in the middle of Illinois. My dad was the local attorney. He represented farmers in a number of counties around. And so in many ways, truckers are often, I feel like farmers, they're independent people. They are hardworking people. They care about their families. They care about society. And so I think that's what I like the most is the clients that we get to help every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Helping the salt of the earth. And a lot of people don't realize it, but trucking people, they are entrepreneurs. They own their own business. It might be one truck, but they own that truck and they own everything that they do. And it's their livelihood. And so what you do is an amazing service to help. And you don't even charge any money up front. It's whatever you can do to help them get something back when they would have gotten nothing, right? Because insurance doesn't want people to know about this, I'm assuming.
You know, there's when a lot of these clients initially reach out to insurance companies or to self-insured, whoever's at fault, they'll say, oh, we don't pay downtime. Well, the hell you don't. You know, you just watch us. They will. They owe it in almost every state. You know, every state law is a little bit different, but primarily downtime is absolutely one of those what's called a consequential loss from the accident that a victim has a right to. So
absolutely. This has been really informative for me. I've loved getting to know this. And in our organization, you know, we want to make it better for people getting into the industry, for the next generation getting in. We wanted to make a better industry. And so for them to have the knowledge to know things like this are out there, hopefully they don't get in an accident, but if it does happen to them, then they have resources, and it's a great service you provide for these.
Well, that's a lot of my job is spreading the knowledge, educating others that they have rights here. And so there's a lot of information on our website, which is downtimeclaims.com. We have hundreds of articles that folks have written. Even we have a Lindsay Trent article.
That's right.
And so it's all surrounding the industry. We have a newsletter that goes out to 25,000 people every couple of weeks on trucking industry information, things that would be helpful to truckers. And then again, free consultation to anyone that needs it. And we have a easy to remember number that's 1-800-DOWNTIME.
Okay, 1-800-DOWNTIME. I can remember that.
There you go. Yeah. So happy to help. We really, really love our truckers.
Okay, and tell me your website again. And are you on social media?
Yes, we're on everything as far as social media goes. And our website is downtimeclaims.com.
Or 1-800-DOWNTIME.
Or 1-800-DOWNTIME.
Awesome. Well, Kelsey, it's been awesome. And you're supportive of the industry too. And we love working with people who support the industry and associations and not just care about what you do, but care about the industry as a whole. So thank you for all of that investment too.
Oh, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything you're doing too for the next generation.
Oh, it's so fun. I love what I do every day. So thank you again for listening to NGT Talks, and you can get her contact information in the show notes and get connected there with their website. If you have any questions, you can also reach out to Next Gen Trucking, info@nextgentrucking.org, or visit us on our website. Sign up for our newsletter. Can people just sign up for your newsletter? How do we get your newsletter?
It's on the homepage on our website.
Okay.
Downtimeclaims.com.
Go. Yeah. And you've got 25,000 people getting it. So it's got to be good content.
I think so.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kelsey. And hopefully I'll get to see you again soon.
All right. Sounds good, Lindsay. Have a good holiday.
Yes, I want to take a moment to thank some of our sponsors. Without your support, what we do day in and day out would not be possible. And those are Act One, Performance Food Group, Fastport, and Long Haul Trucking, Lytics, Old Dominion Freight Lines, Republic Services, Rail Transport, Ryder, Samba Safety, the Truck Parking Club, and Universal Technical Institute, or UTI.